My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Welcome, welcome. This is Anna Scott, My Love of Life Energy, and today I am so honored to have Lindsay Barn joining me. And Lindsay is out of the UK. We met through Supercoach, and I was in a class with him recently, and I could tell that he has really seen something profoundly. And when he speaks, it's like you can watch the whole room go quiet. Including me. So welcome, Lindsay. I'm so thrilled that you agreed to be on this with me today.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. No, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I love it. And so we met through Michael's Neil's Supercoach, which we were just talking about. So many people we've met are on this podcast, but really wonderful. And you were saying that you're going deeper with him, and you've really seen something more, and I can feel it in you. And I'm just curious, what are you seeing these days?
That's a huge question, because my answer to that is I don't know. In what do I recognize? Do I see it as a thing? Has something happened? Has something moved? Well, something has, but I don't know what it is within me that's shifted, other than I know that I've gone deeper within my own understanding of who I am. And for me, that's allowed me to, again, the words I struggle with, so excuse me if I stutter a few times. It's my truth. It's living Lindsay.
Oh.
I've always lived Lindsay as someone else, as a salesman, as a coach, as something, and always had that thing to life, but that seems to have dropped away for me. So now I do a few things. Coaching is one of them. Music is another thing. I've been a musician for 45 years. And what feels different is that I can just be Lindsay. I can just be me. It doesn't matter who that is or what that is or how that shows itself. And that's shifted for me, because none of that matters anymore now. Excuse me. What matters is that when I show up as me, as authentic as I can be in that moment. And that's allowing me to feel a sense of freedom, inner freedom, not a freedom to roam around outside or to go places, but a freedom for me to go where I feel I want to go in the moment within myself.
Say more about that. That's really interesting.
Before seeing what I've seen, Anna, I would have tried to, okay, Lindsay, you're a coach. Okay, so what do coaches do? Oh, well, X, Y, Z.
Oh, wow. I just feel like a whiplash just happened. The energetic of what you just did. It's like you left. It's like you shut off. It's like a door just shut down to all the energy inside of you, and you just went up in your head.
Okay. Well, I think what I saw.
Wow.
I was in. I'll use music as an example, if I may, because music is something I've always had a connection with, and I picked up a drumstick, which was the first instrument I played when I was 14 years old. I'm 64, so that's 50 years ago.
Wow.
And I started playing in bands at 16, and I played rock music. John Bonham is my ultimate drumming hero from Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin music is if I'm going to listen to something loud, I listen to Led Zeppelin. And I was a rock drummer, and I was a rock drummer for a long time. I now play piano and lots of a whole ton of instruments. And I've always seen myself as a rock drummer. That was me, not a musician. So when I started to call myself a musician, that started to loosen me up a little bit in terms of what it is I could do. And where I am today is the music I produce now is more sound healing based music. So there is some science behind it in terms of frequencies we use, vibrations, speeds, tempos, rhythms. These things can entrain your brain. They can take you into a trance, very deep trance state, some of the rhythms that you can play. And a lot of it's shamanic based. So there's lots of elements that I've been exploring and drawn on to create the music that I create now. It's very unique, but it's very Lindsay. And I completed an album over a year ago, and I still haven't released it.
How come?
And the reason I haven't released it is because it's so different. There's some people I've played it to, and they've just gone, "Gosh, what were you smoking when you recorded that, Lindsay?" But, well, absolutely nothing. It just came out that way. Other people have listened to it and said, "Wow, this is amazing. This is awesome. This is great just to listen to for. It's 50 minutes long, just to go on a journey with and let the music take you." And I've had a hang up because I'm a rock musician. That's what I do. I'm a rock drummer. And all of a sudden, this stuff that's coming out of me is very new agey, very new, some of it's meditative, some of it's shamanic. It's a mixture of everything else. And the only thing I can call it is it's Lindsay flavored music.
Oh, Lindsay. I love that.
I mean, I can't turn the camera around, but on the big monitor in the studio, I've got this big thing that just says Lindsay flavored music. And that reminds me that when I'm recording, whatever comes out of me into drumming, into keyboards, into piano, into phase drums, or whatever it is I'm playing, is okay. So whatever comes up, whatever it records as, whatever it sounds like, is okay, because that's how it's come from me. That's how it's meant to be. Now, going back to what you asked me earlier on, is could I speak more to the inner freedom? That is inner freedom for me, because it's whatever comes up from my heart, because I'm not a technical musician, far from it, but I'm a heart-based musician. So I play intuitively. I allow whatever it is that's in me to come out, and it'll either get expressed on a phase drum or a drum, piano, whatever the instrument is that I'm choosing to play and to perform it on. And prior to this way of seeing things, I had a fear about being judged for what it is I was putting out. And that fear was holding me as Lindsay, the rock musician, because I was well known. I did really well doing it. Thank you very much. Not nationally or internationally, but I had a good reputation as a really good rock drummer. But I'd found that label I'd bought into all those years was holding my music back, was holding me back.
Oh,
that's gone. That's why, again, with coaching, that's why I say when you say you're a transformative coach, oh, well, so that's 3 principles, is it? Yes. Okay. So you talk about mind and thought and consciousness and all the rest of it. Well, no, I just coach people. Are you stuck? Well, I can help you with that. Are you feeling depressed? I can help you with that. But I'll help you with Lindsay coaching. It's Lindsay flavored coaching. It's Lindsay flavored music. This is a Lindsay flavored conversation.
Let's covered with Savannah.
Well, absolutely. But when you ask me, what comes from me is free. So this, I don't know what I really don't know how to explain it sometimes, but it's without filter. It's without me running it through my head first and thinking, well, that's a good thing to say. Yeah, that's a good promotion. Yeah, people are like that. I should say that. No, it just comes as it comes.
I love what you're pointing to. This weekend I was working with a client, and she was an executive, and we were talking about, the thought gives us the capacity to create personalities. Like she's a CEO, and then it became the filter, which she had. If something came up that she wanted to do, if it didn't match the CEO filter, she couldn't do it. because we made up these identities. And what you're pointing to is seeing the truth of who we are, with this aliveness.
Yeah. And whatever it is that you do, there's, I believe we are here for a reason, and we are here to express ourselves. We're here to be the expression of who we are in the world. And I've danced around music. I was professional for about 11 or 12 years. I've then gone into sales, into corporate world. I've done a lot of things, but music has been the constant thread through all of it in some way, shape, or form. And it's interesting that other things in life have always taken precedence, like responsibilities to family, to money, to pay the mortgage, to pay the rent. Oh, I better go out to work and get a job. Never thinking that actually what I should be doing is concentrating on Lindsay and what Lindsay is able to bring into the world as Lindsay, not as a drummer in a band, because that's a job. That's what I did as a musician. I was a jobbing musician. I worked, I got paid well for what I did, but I was playing other people's music. I was, yes, doing my expression of it, but now not only am I expressing the music I play, the music's coming from me. So
Can I ask you,
this is 100% now.
What is music to you? I know that seems like a strange question, but there's something I'm really curious about.
Oh, that's a really, really, really good question. What's coming to mind and has come into my head several times now is music for me is life. Music is how I express myself in the world. It's how I show up. It's the larger part of what I do, along with coaching and having these conversations.
Oh, wow. I just felt, I don't know if this is true, but it's like how you express love, how you show love.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, Anna, because that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
When I play and when I do this stuff, it's not coming from anything other than my heart inside of me, and it's coming from mind.
Yeah.
It's coming again. If we talk three principles, it's coming from the formless into form,
Right.
and
But
so it's love, because that's really what mind is. Mind is love. The formless is pure love.
and it's like how love gets expressed through you, but you get to feel it as it's coming through you. It's so funny because I'm beginning to see that love, this formless energy gets infinite ways of expressed, and it's unique to every person, like every thumbprint, but the feeling is there.
I spent many years in the music business, and I still work with some artists in the commercial music business. I still do a little bit. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit, and it's nice to keep connected to those people. But it's all about the business. It's all about the money. And things are considered before they are released. In other words, will this sell? Won't it sell? What audience will it appeal to? And that's the music world I come from. Whereas with this, the difference to me is that I just express myself musically, and I'll either put it out there or I won't. I might play it with clients or use it with clients or not. I'll use it how I see fit, and people will either like it or they don't. And I have absolutely no preference as to whether people like it or not. That is a revelation for me.
It seems to me that all music, when it's first created, is coming from this formless, and I mean, I could just feel so much like you connect into your love purely, without the filters, without the preferences, without the the judgment of it.
Yeah. It is, again, it's part, again, going right back to what you asked me at the very beginning. For me, that's a shift in me as a musician, as a person expressing themselves in the world. Because before I would have mixed it and remixed it to make it absolutely right, to make sure it was perfect, to make sure it could hit the target audience so that it would sell, so that it would make me money. And that takes the artistry for me right out of it. Whereas just producing it as it is, quite raw, recording it in my own studio and releasing it from that makes it quite raw. It's certainly not, it's not a massive production that I'll do to it, but I don't want that. I don't want it overproduced. I want it to sound authentic and real as it is, which is the way it's recorded. Very little editing. Most of it is straight takes. Most of it is just how it comes out of me.
Wow.
And that for me is such a game changer in freeing me up to just produce whatever the hell it is I produce.
It's interesting. You just said something that I hadn't seen. That's how I'm doing these podcasts. There's no editing. It's raw. It's authentic, and just I'm really touched because I can feel the truth. It's like whatever comes through in the moment is the truth. And you're allowing what is to be there without it letting it have to be anything other than what it is in the perfect moment.
Yeah. I think what I found with whatever it is that's happened within me, for me to go deeper and to be in this place, I feel such a sense of peace, such a sense of joy and love and calm. Freedom is the one that's the real surprise for me, because I kind of found peace quite a number of years ago, albeit I've had quite a challenging few years, but I found peace through those years. This goes beyond, for me, peace now in how I show up, and freedom is the thing that I feel that I am experiencing the most now. This freedom just to be me.
Do you know the work of God, she just loving what is? What's her name? I just am going blank. It'll come to me. And what I'm seeing you're doing is loving life every moment as it appears through your music.
Yeah, it's not restricted to music either.
Yeah.
And as I said before, this is Lindsay showing up, and yeah, I coach. I'm pretty good at it. But it's again, it's not XYZ coaching, it's Lindsay flavored coaching. And when I work with clients and when I have conversations like this, again, I find that I come from somewhere that I didn't have access to before.
Wow. Can you it's so important to me, the come from, and you just said it. And can you speak more to what's the come from, like what you notice about that?
I noticed that the less I let go of my preconceptions or my ideas about how I should show up, how I should be, how I should look, how I should sound, etc., the more I let go of all of those conditions and just allow myself to be and to come from that place, the more fulfilled my life is. and I don't mean fulfilled as in more money. I mean fulfilled as in, wow. Life just becomes amazing in the simplest of things. And I find beauty and pleasure in things that I would never have believed I could find beauty and pleasure in. Just sitting in the garden watching the grass grow. I know that sounds daft, but I can sit and look at the grass. And when you look at the grass and be with the grass, it takes on a new look, a new feel, a new sensation, and you become more sensitive to everything. It enlivens you, it wakens you up. It just, all your senses start to tingle when you get to that beautiful place of being. And I find I'm there more now than I've ever been before. And that place, when I come from that place, really good shit happens.
Oh my God. I can just feel it in you. It's such an invitation. It's such an invite to other people to be there. Like, that's the joke. It's all in every human being.
Mm.
Like where you are, every human being has, but you really seem to be living from there.
I'm getting there, yeah. I know there's more to go. I know I'm still scratching the surface. And that really is borne out by where I thought I was 2 years ago, pre-Supercoach. I thought I was pretty enlightened. I thought I was pretty peaceful. We did Supercoach, and that like took me to another level altogether. And I thought, wow, how deep can you go? And I don't think there's a bottom. I don't think there's an ending to this. This is just a journey through life that the more we can embrace our own love, our own truth, then the deeper we'll go. And the richer and the more abundant and beautiful our lives will become because of it.
It's so funny that you say that, like you keep seeing this deeper.
Mm.
You know, yesterday I had an experience where I thought I'd really felt love before, and then I felt it at such a different level. And I thought, holy shit, how did I never see this before?
Mm. I don't know how we're doing for time, but I could share a story. I could share a story, and I'll bring it right down, so because it normally can take me quite a long time to share it. But I think I might have mentioned to you I lost my daughter 13 years ago to cancer.
Yeah.
And she was in hospital. It all happened very quickly. We're over a period of 6 months from being diagnosed to losing her. And in the last few days of her life, I just camped in the hospital room with her to be with her because she was in a coma. She hadn't moved for 6 days, Anna. And then on the last day, I wanted to go home because I was tired. I needed a rest. I thought she might be hanging on because she didn't want me to be there when she died. All the rest, all these things go on in your head. And so I had said to her that at 7 o'clock that evening, I was going to leave, go home, good night's sleep, back the next day, and we'd carry on talking and doing stuff, albeit she didn't move. It was just, I knew the brain was still there. She was still hearing me. She was still feeling me. And at 6:45 that night, I just stood by the side of her bed and just said, Trish, look, I'm getting ready to go now. And when I did that, as soon as I said those words, she opened her eyes, first time in 6 days. She cried. And she held her hand up for me to hold. And as I held her hand and looked into her eyes, I just cried. But in that moment, Anna, we weren't in the hospital anymore. We were one. We were joined. We were together. The overwhelming feeling and sense of peace and love and joy and calm and serenity was just, I can't, words don't come close to any of it. And we experienced lifetimes together. We experienced things that I just, that were previous lives where, if you believe in that sort of stuff, it felt like time didn't exist in this place. And we weren't alone. There was a gazillion souls in this place as well. And we traveled and we had fun and we did stuff. And this only was about 20 or 30 seconds in our time. And all this stuff happened. And then she just said to me, Dad, and physically said to me, Dad, I love you, thank you, and goodbye. And she closed her eyes, her arm went down. She didn't pass away. She just went back into the coma. She died about 3 hours later. She passed away very peacefully with a couple of the nurses. I'd gone home by now. So clearly she didn't want me there. But I hadn't got a clue, Anna, what had happened in that moment. 13 years ago that was. But about 5 or 6 years ago, I realized what she shared with me. I realized the gift she had given me, which is to say, look, this physical existence, this human experience we're having is great, but this is what you're made of. This is the inside. This is what you are. You are pure peace, you're pure love, and you're pure joy. And I so see that now and get that. So my daughter's gift, if you like, drives me now, in a sense, to go as deep as I possibly can, because I know that we'll never get there. The only way I'll ever achieve that level of depth is when I curl up my toes and I go.
But, Lindsay, I'm going to challenge you on that one. I don't know that that's true. Because I'm betting the more that I sense your freedom that's happening, like it's like the fishnets are just being all cut away. And I think the invitation is how do we be that in this human form?
Yeah. This is something I've given a lot of thought to. I've meditated on it. I've done a lot of thinking around this.
And that's the issue.
I know, and that is the problem. But I think the thing for me, Anna, is that we're here to experience being human. We're not here to experience being a spiritual being, because that's what we are. We've come from that place and we will return to that place. So in a sense, the reason I say that, it's when I go, and it's my time, that's when I'll fully get back to that space. I think in this world, as we are now, I kind of like the mix. I like the mix of human and spirit. I love the way that it comes together.
Okay, so I got to challenge. This is the one thing I just saw. The beauty is that when I let my thinking go, I'm able to experience the human form so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And experience the pleasures of it. And that's what I feel is possible.
I would say, from how I know you, Anna, from Supercoach, I would say that you are living that, because I know I am. Yeah. I know that when I come from that place of love, I know that I am experiencing love, but I'm bringing it into this physical reality.
Well, I know that I also
saying this, I was going to say, in saying this, what I'm not doing is I'm not suggesting duality. I'm not suggesting that the human experience is different from the spiritual. We are one and the same. The spirit can't survive in this world without the body can't survive without the spirit. The two are together. We are here to experience both at the same time.
You just dropped a truth bomb. When I laugh like that, I just heard the truth.
Cool. What did you hear?
I just felt the unity. All of a sudden, I felt the unity of both. The paradox. And I just felt human without spirit is dry and empty. I mean, there just isn't the richness, but spirit without the human isn't as fun or sensual or pleasurable. But together, Jesus Christ, what a sweet unity.
And that, for me, is absolutely the essence of going deeper, of just continuing to show up as me, be truthful, be honest, be who I am in the world.
Oh, Lindsay, we are coming to the end, and I don't want it, because let me tell you, who you are is magnificent. Just gorgeous.
Well, I think you two are magnificent, and I think we're all magnificent. We
Yeah,
just don't know it half the
yeah.
time because we get caught up in our thinking about who we should be and how we should be in life.
Mm.
And actually, all we need to do is show up authentically as
Oh,
us, however that is. And today it may be Lindsay the musician. Tomorrow I might be Lindsay the coach. The day after that I might be Lindsay somebody else. I don't know. I
yeah,
don't care. I'm
yeah.
open to that now, which I never was before.
Mm. That's beautiful. Lindsay, I can't thank you enough. I just have adored this. So, Lindsay, where can people find you? That's my.
They can find me online at theinspirationbarn.com.
Mm.
That's my
Oh, wonderful.
website that's got music on it, and it's still a little bit of a work in progress, but I'm getting there with it.
Great. And all your info will be in the bio. So thank you. I can't thank you
Cool.
enough.
You're very welcome. Absolute pleasure.